referring to, you get the guys that call in and don't take this the wrong way because we appreciate everybody trying to help their love, especially me. I wish my family would have called in and didn't know nothing, just try.
Right.
But you get some people that will call in and think they know everything about how it should happen. And when you tell them, well, look, these are the services. See, we're not the lawyers. Your first point of contact, we're just gathering information and informing you on the services that the organization provides. But once we tell you that, we're telling you that, you get a lot of people that are like, no. This is what it should do. This is what we should be doing, and this is that. Well, if that's the case, why is he not home? And that's just being super blunt about it, not wanting to be disrespectful. But the key is to get the guy home. When I was in that cage, my every focus was getting out of that cage. So that was the whole purpose of Mitch and I starting the organization, was to help people that were in the same situation like I was. So you kind of wish that people would not be so, I know what to do, and telling you what to do when you're telling them what they do every day, what the staff does every day, what these lawyers do every day. So,
and you can't just rock with everybody, every attorney. What was that? And I want to say his name. I'm really giving him a big shout out. The attorney that I paid all that money to,
Howard Cohen.
Oh
my God!
When he backs up, he goes beep beep beep. Where did he come from? Howard Cohen out of
right here,
Marina Del Rey.
Oh my God! That guy, Mitch hired a lawyer for me.
So much.
Now you gotta understand, I'm in jail.
20 years ago, something.
Yeah, 20 years ago. Yeah, 20 years ago, Mitch hires a lawyer for me, and I just want to get out. about that. One thing you can do is give us a call at, what's the number?
888-245-9393.
Mitch, what was that number again?
Um,
888-245-9393. And
never have to call it.
or contact us at unitethepeople.org and, ask the questions. Ask the questions about what we charge. One thing that you'll find, and I always encourage everybody, every client, every person that ever calls us, is call around. Call any of these other organizations or law firms that do post-conviction work and ask them how much they charge to do the same service that you called and asked us to do. And one thing that you will find out, guaranteed, is that they're going to charge the price that we quote you, the fee we quote for our service. The post-conviction law firm will be 4 to 5 times higher than that. And that's just something that we pride ourselves in. Of course, we could charge more money. But if we charge more money, that would make less people be able to get those services.
Right. So, and a route we're going, just to throw this out there, is what we want to do is we're trying to get people to, other foundations and to help fund Unite the People. We would love to get donations to help fund Unite the People so that we don't have to charge. Some cases where we don't have to charge. We want to get to the point where we don't have to charge the public because we have people that, donate to this cause, to this organization. And, we can then, that's the dream, that's the goal, to get to that point so we can actually just, help as many people to, fall out of exhaustion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Yeah, but pro bono work right now for us just isn't possible. Low bono, which we do, is what we do. Like we said, hey, it would be a dream if we ever do get that large funding to be able to help as many of the community, people in the community that we can. But until we get to that point, we'll stay how we are. We don't plan on raising any fees. We're just planning to continue working for the people. So to answer that is good. That's something that I like answering because a lot of people just don't know that. Another question that we have, Mitch, is paperwork for resentencing. I don't understand that. Let's ask one of the producers. Yeah, what does it mean by paperwork for resentencing? What is that question?
It was
submitted.
Yeah, once it's submitted, how long does it take to get resentenced?
So
after you submit your paperwork.
Right.
PA.
Right. Okay.
CDCR.
So to answer that, it's not really that simple. But once I will say this: once you submit anything in for resentencing, the district attorney's office as well as the courts, there's normally a 0 to 60 days that they give themselves before they respond. Different counties are different. And if you're asking, and it's just seeing the few words that we have on here about it, paperwork for resentencing, I'm thinking what they mean is talking about the request for resentencing. And if they're speaking on the request for resentencing, now you have a whole nother situation because they didn't give themselves a timeline. They didn't give themselves, it's up to the DA's discretion. It's up to the DA's discretion on whether they do the resentencing, when they're going to look at the resentencing, as well as just basically whenever they do it, it's on their discretion. Now, what we do from our organization is we try to always follow up with those district attorneys and try to, like everyone is familiar with, Los Angeles is on a tier-based system, but every other county, it's just on them. It's it's on them. We've had cases where, go ahead, Mitch.
Can the people call and
Absolutely.
follow up also?
Absolutely.
We have so many people working. We have so many cases that we're trying to help. We can't just sit there and dedicate to keep going. We try, but you can also call in to the court yourself, right?
Right, absolutely. And that's one thing we try to encourage our family members. If you're not hearing back from the district attorney, because the district attorney would normally, and they do it 2 different ways. Like, for instance, the guy that's case was out of Contra Costa County. His resentencing was scheduled, for last Friday? and then they put it off for a week for this Friday. But they didn't even notify our organization. They just notified him directly. And that's because it's left to the DA's discretion. If it was something that was filed to be granted or denied, then they would make sure that the attorney got a copy. But when you're dealing with resentencing, they left it so broad that you really just have to be on top of them. So we try to be on top of them. We encourage any loved ones, if anyone out there, if you have had a request for resentencing filed, whether it was from us or anybody else, and you haven't gotten a response yet, man, call the district attorney's office. And we've heard different things at different times. We've even had to resubmit them to the district attorney's office because remember when they first formed the resentencing units and when the law first passed,
they didn't know what they were doing.
the district attorneys were like, hey, what is this? We don't know.
Right.
So we're telling them like, hey, 1170 D1, it says this, you can do that. And then they're like, hey, well, you got to wait for us to, they're going to educate us on that. So it's a lot of different things. So if you're waiting on it, call them. If you're waiting on it, you can call us as well. But feel free to call them. One thing about United People, our staff works hard every day, all day. You could ask him, you can ask Payton. From beginning, from the start of the day to the end, it's definitely a lot of work. Now, what is the next topic, Mitch?
I can't see what
We do have another question from Miss Vega about.
But let's not get to that yet. Let's continue. Let's get this done.
Gotcha.
We have the preparing to go in front of a board.
Right.
And then we have community involvement in parentheses, which I'm not, again, too sure what that is. But preparing to go in front of the parole board is something that I guess I'll take that question.
You're the only one that did that.
Yeah, I'm the only one out here that had to do that. But preparing to go in front of the board, man, is huge. An individual that's preparing to go in front of the board, there's a lot that they need to do. There's advice you can give them, or you can call, and our staff actually, we do, again, a lot of non-litigational work. So you give us a call and we can help your loved one prepare to go to the board. I went to the board and was blessed enough to get out on my first board, which a lot of guys don't. The majority of
Do you
people
think it
don't.
had anything to do with how many people call up?
I think it has, well, that for sure. Well, now let me explain that. You don't call the board. No, you didn't call the board, but let me explain it. So, when I went to the board and they granted me parole, but after they granted my parole, the governor took my parole board date, and they set up what's called an in-bank hearing. And what that is normally they only do that to like guys with really murders and multiples and all kinds of things. And so I was shook, like honestly, when they called me down there to tell me that they took my board date. The counselor was sitting in the room. But the counselor called me like, hey, McDowell, we need to see you down in my office. And when I went down to their office, it was a sergeant and it was a psych in there. And the psych was standing in the corner with the clipboard. And they were like, McDowell, have a seat. Now, when they call you, tell you that somebody died. That's only when the counselor calls you. So I'm sitting there shook, like, man, what are y'all about to tell me? They're like, well, the governor took your parole board date. You're not going home. And I'm like, everything started spinning. Like, wait, what? What'd you say? And they were like, are you mad? Are you going to attack anybody? Are you going to hurt yourself? And man, the system is so archaic. Like, what? Am I going to? No, stupid. Let me find out why I'm not going home. And then they told me, well, the governor took your date. You have to have an in-bank hearing. Mm-hmm. So an in-bank hearing is where the community can call in. When you go to board, you go in front of 3 board members, or 2 board members, excuse me. You go in front of 2 board members. But there's actually a panel of 12 in the state of California. Mm-hmm. So if they take your board hearing, what happens is you go in front of that panel of 12, but you don't go physically. They don't hear from you anymore. Now it's up to the community. Mm-hmm. If you have loved ones that will call in and speak on your behalf, then you do that. And they take what your loved ones say. The board takes whatever, like with me, the actual board granted me parole. Mm-hmm. The governor took it. Then, so the in-bank, the governor sends it to the in-bank. That's the panel. then the panel makes that decision. They hear what the two parole board officers said, and then they would listen to what they say, and then they make their decision. Now, in most guys' cases, with an in-bank hearing, what happens is, maybe one or two loved ones will call in and try to speak on your behalf, see whatever it is that. But for the people on the radio, someone just came to the door where we're recording, and one of the guys here tried to air crawl across the floor under the cameras, and from the look of the producers' faces, he absolutely showed up on camera. But the sound guy is here now, and so that's great. But going back to what we were talking about with that, so the community can call in. Now, during my in-bank hearing, again, I was blessed. God blessed me to have really supportive people, and normally, one or two people call into your in-bank hearing. But in my instance, I think it was like 36 people called in.
Man, it was hilarious.
Let me just say this last part, then I'll let Mitch tell you about the story. In the in-bank hearing, you might get one or two people who give a damn enough to call.
Right.
Like whenever somebody has an in-bank hearing, you're like, who called? My mom and my wife. And that's it. After, and I'm going to let Mitch tell the story. But during my in-bank hearing, each person that calls in gets how many minutes? 3 minutes to talk?
Yeah, three.
Each person gets 3 minutes to talk. So you get one or two people, they say something. I had 36 people that called in. And in my case, people called 36 times 3 minutes. Now the board has to sit there and listen to each individual person.
And it got to a point where it's like, okay, so like they were playing. You just all right, and another one for Ceasar.
And somebody recorded it and I heard it. Right, I'll let Mitch tell the story though. But I had people calling in from Tesla, from Apple, music producers, record label people, Crips. A blood or two maybe. Like literally it was my mom, my brothers, friends, family. It was so many different type people that the people that recorded and played it back to me, I was a little bit amazed. Like, wow, I know them people. Right? It was doctors and all that, but it was dudes on the corner that called in. And literally one of the people that killed it for me, and I'm gonna shut up in a minute, was we had a guy named Yakub Brooks. Right? Yeah.
Mr. Brooks.
Yeah. That's one of the toughest guys I know. He's kind of like DMX and Will Smith put together, right? I don't know who else to put it like, but the dude is a really solid type guy, real strong type guy. He was on there crying like a baby. He was on there like,
how you gonna put him out there like that?
Yes. He was on there, but that's my guy. It was all love though. Like for me, it was big because when I listened to it, it was like, man, people really gave it down. So, but go ahead, Mitch. You
pretty much told it.
Well, I didn't tell that. The board people, how they were taking it. Right. Hilarious.
Because there were some cases in there because everybody can hear it.
Right.
You hear everybody's case.
I wasn't information charges.
I wasn't just hearing
the whole case. You hear everybody else's case too.
There was some sick stuff on there.
They had cops. They had two police on there. Both of them murdered their families.
Oh,
okay.
One murdered his wife, his kids, somebody else. And this guy I served 20 years of my life for cursing in my living room, where no one was hurt, scratched, kicked, nothing. This dude served 9 years, and the board gave him a parole date. They let him go. So when the calls came in, but these guys are all before me, so everybody that was calling in for me had to listen to them.
Yeah.
You have to stay, because you have to log in and stay on that phone call.
And they'll call your name.
Yeah, and then they'll buzz you in, so you have to sit there and listen, right? So you had to hear these guys' cases. So I mean, there was people like, oh my God, he killed so and so and so and so in my family.
Oh, wow.
Listen, please, I want to go, please.
And you guys heard the victims too.
You heard the victims because people can call in for you,
Right.
or against you,
Right.
So they'll be like, oh, the nose, right?
It was shocking because, yeah, I screamed about that. It was shocking because I'm on the phone like so and the old lady like, hi, okay, I'm calling for so. All right, are you pro? I'm against him getting that. And like, whoa, people really like it was shocking, like, and the victims, and you're like, oh man, so here comes Ceasar.
Wow.
All right, but it's funny because while it's going on, people go, hello, I'm calling for Ceasar McDowell. Look, you have to wait. So then
You can hear all that.
they got so many people calling in out of turn. They said we're gonna go ahead and recue it. So it got to the point where like most people had 2 people call, 1 person call, 3 people call. And his was like over an hour and something, almost 2 hours long. With people just, and it's almost like, all right, to me, he ain't that guy. I know to do it. Great God.
We've got one against out of nowhere.
But it was good though because I had no against, there was no opposition.
Oh, that was scary.
Thank God.
They go pro first,
Uh-huh.
and then the opposition next.
Uh-huh.
But you sit there and you wait. So I'm like,
Right.
oh God.
And you don't know prior to.
You don't know who's calling.
Wow.
Yeah,
Anybody could have showed up.
Yeah.
DA's call.
Right.
And now the DA, please don't let him call. He's a murderer. So,
Nobody called and see them.
yeah, but the funny part that
My phone service died.
but the funny part though about that was when they recorded it for me, when I listened to it, was the board themselves. The people,
Yeah.
they probably never had that many people call in for one dude.
I won on the record.
Right. So yeah, they were like, and for Ceasar McDowell, and then somebody would speak, man, for Ceasar McDowell again. And it just got monotonous. To them, they were like the guy that, and what's crazy is he had to do it 36 times.
Wow.
So the funny part is after I got out, I had to call back to the parole board for something when it had to do with my living situation and where I was going to live. I call and the guy says, "This is the parole department." It was him. I recognized his voice out, and I said, "Oh, hey, how you doing? My name's Ceasar McDowell." "You're Ceasar McDowell?" He recognized my name off the top. Like, I've heard so much about you, man. It's good to meet you. Another lady got on the phone and was like, "Man, it's really good. We're proud that you got out and what you're doing in the community. Like, no, for real, we're really proud of you, man." Yeah, it was cool, but to recognize that dude's voice was hilarious because he had a very.
Do we have any questions?
Have any questions come up?
No, just comments.
Comments.
Awesome.
Read a comment.
Indeterminate sentences allow the system to be corrupt. The determinate sentence law of 1977 was enacted to fix it. All sentences should be determinate and determined by a superior court judge.
Preach.
Okay. Who was that?
That was from Kevin Smith, 4553.
Kevin Smith, Kevin. What's up, brother Kevin?
Who is
How
that?
you doing? Something, Kevin, the officer today. The one that did the video for us. Yeah, good dude.
Fantastic.
How you doing, brother Kevin?
Mr. Smith.
Yeah. It's good to see that Kevin's on there, man. But you're right, and I don't agree with one part that you said was that it should be left up to the judge. Damn, the judge is the one that's ultimately sentenced all of us. I just think that, and just to call a spade, to be honest, and that's one thing that I always try to do. The problem is our judges are so old. They need to get rid of all of these really old judges, meaning old in age, and really the younger generations, to be honest, the younger generations are more level-headed. It's just in my opinion.
Yeah, but they also have a schedule to go off of too.
But the judges don't go off on the schedule. They're supposed to have a sentencing schedule, but the judges do whatever the hell they want. That's how you end up with 25 zillion years for gun possession. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, but they have a schedule where you can get 25 years for gun possession.
but they always give it to you.
Yeah, but if they take that schedule away, they take some of the power away.
Yeah.
Define the schedule that you guys are speaking in regards to this. Some of our viewers may have time.
Hey, close that door for me.
It's just
Go ahead.
What are you saying? The schedule?
Tony opened the door, so it keeps opening and closing.
The sentencing schedule?
Close it, right?
Oh, it's just a schedule, like, like with bail. There's a bail schedule. If you do this crime, you get this amount for bail. If you do this, you get this amount. There's a stuff that guidelines from the follow.
Right. And they're supposed to use it, but the problem is with the California sentencing structure, they gave the judges all discretion. Mm-hmm. So a judge can say, well, this, I can give you 1 year, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 25.
Right.
And
That's no balls in the walls.
yeah, and so if you're black or Hispanic, you definitely stand a chance, like they said a couple of weeks ago, 88% of enhancements that were passed out in California were passed out to people of color. So I want to take the discretion away from the judges. It should be strictly, you do a crime, that crime carries this amount of time, then that way you know what you deserve. Yeah. If I do this, I know what I deserve. In my case, I did 20 years. I got 3 life sentences for something that was only able to be put in the county jail or at the most a year, 16 months in prison. And they use their discretion and sentenced to do the 3 life sentences. So yeah, I think that the judges shouldn't have that. But is there any other comment that we want to address on there? If not, we're kind of behind the schedule here. But is there something that
Operation Black said, "Thank you for all that you do for people. You guys are amazing, and you give people hope." That's priceless.
Who said that?
Operation Black.
Operation Black.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Tell them we said thank you. And we definitely try. We definitely try. It's a lot of work. So let's get to some of this here. Let me see. 10 minutes. We haven't even started. Oh my God.
It just warmed up.
Yeah. No, but we have more than 10 minutes. We started 10 minutes late.
Oh, okay.
Unless we have 20 minutes. That was we should not have screamed. Please tell me Kevin's word on his face. That was horrible. He looked like he just said his dog died. Okay. But so I do want to run through some of the questions that were sent to us. And Mitch, I think we want to do the one from Blue Strip Bandit right here.
Yeah, I think we addressed that one too.
Did we address that?
Yeah, we addressed that one as well as the parole.
No, we didn't address this.
Oh,
Case reviews. How much?
case review.
He wanted to know how much we charge for a
Should we
case
bring up how
review.
we're bundling the case review and
Really sharp guy. So,
no that.
so
Wait, let me read some of these comments. Okay, so Kevin Smith said this is what the determinate sentence law was supposed to do, but has been skewed over the years. AK-47. I learned a lot of information today that I could definitely share with my family. Thanks for everything you guys do. And Kevin Smith said, I'm proud of all of you. Keep up the fight.
Yes, sir, Mr.
Who
Smith.
said that?
Kevin Smith.
Kevin, man, he ain't got nothing else to do, huh? No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
He's just joking because we know Kevin. Kevin's actually a buddy of mine who was an incarcerated person that came to us after he was released and he needed some help. I'm not going to put his story out there. That's his business. But if you can go watch his video, he did leave a video on our website about the services that we provide and how we helped Kevin. And I'm definitely proud of, hey, this was a dude that I seen while I was there. We used to, he's a different race. In California, you're not supposed to eat together, a whole bunch of backstory there. But, we ate together, we hung out together. I used to let him come up and use some of the things that I had. So, really good dude. The different devices.
Resources.
I did have certain resources available, i.e., unite the people, right? So that was, and that wasn't meant as a double entendre. None of that. That was strictly meaning same as unite the people. But Kevin was a good dude. But now the bundle. Why don't you explain to the people what we're doing? And this is a new program that we've started. And we wanted to come up with something that really, really, really gave someone incarcerated, like, hope, like big hope, like hell yeah type hope, right? And so we've been working on this for a while, and we figured out a way to get this program started and make it affordable for everyone. So why don't you tell them a little bit about that?
More affordable.
More affordable.
You know, because at this point, anything that we're offering you is 80%, 90% lower than your average rates. But just to get you guys an idea of what our pricing was for these two services separately, $3,500 for a case analysis, $3,500 for your request for resentencing. Now what we're doing,
Which is how much?
In total,
Total.
$7,000.
Now, if you take college,
Yeah,
if you take,
I had to think about it. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, but if you take now add up what another. We're not going to name any other one,
Right.
but let's use one of the average ones. What would they normally charge for those two services?
Between $16,000 and $25,000 to start.
And that's for just one of those services.
For one of those services.
One of those services for the request for resentencing, you call around on average, it's $16,000 to $20,000 just for the resentencing. What do they normally charge for the case review?
Case review, if I'm not mistaken, is between $3,000 to get started and $15,000, depending on the severity.
It
of the
depends
case.
on if you have an LWAP case. It depends on what it is.
Yep.
They will start around $3,000, some of them. But now the quality of their case review is totally unlike ours.
And I was just about to get into that.
The quality of their case review is what you would think you would get from someone who doesn't have no incarcerated.
Right.
If the person that started this law firm never loved nobody in prison to start with,
Right.
your case review is basically the consultation we give over the phone. They draft it on paper, they send it to you, and they charge you thousands.
Yeah.
As opposed to our case review is, hey, send us all your transcripts. We're going to go through everything line by line and then match it with whatever Senate bill or Assembly bill that has passed that you could qualify for. We do a way more thorough case review.
The most efficient route thereof is what we're offering.
Right, thereof. So,
Well, why would you do a case review?
well, a case review,
What are you
man,
looking for in a case review?
things that may have happened while you were. A case review is something where they're supposed to, or what we do is we take from the day you were arrested till today.
Right.
And we go through every single thing that happened in your case. Like me, I did 20 years on 3 life sentences just to have CDC tell me right before my release hearing, like, oh, sorry, they sent me a thing. We reviewed your case. And we apologize, man, but you were legally sentenced 20 years
I
ago.
can't believe it slipped through the cracks.
Yeah, you could have filed a petition 20 years ago, and based on people versus other, it actually states the case law. Like, I that blew me away. Like, you put the damn case law on why I shouldn't even be here.
People need Hill.
People versus Hill. And for me, that was like a blow to the gut, right? Like, wow, I don't even know my daughters no more, really. You know, my son's football practice, we never had it. And, you know, my brothers and them out there without me. And now you tell me this. You know what I mean? So we did take that. If you go on our website, we did shoot a video about it, and we did impose the actual letter they sent me on the video. So you can check that out. But a lot of guys, I'm not the abnormal. Like, that wasn't something that doesn't normally happen. You know, that's kind of like the norm. If you don't catch it, that's your bad. You just did all of that time. But who can afford, after fighting your case, you have a single mom taking care of the kids, and she just did everything she could to help you fight that case and collect calls, and all of that was super expensive. Now you're in prison, you need clothes, packages,
Green dots?
cosmetics.
No, I'm joking.
This guy here, green dots. If you're do extracurricular things, you would ask your family for green dots. Right. I used to ask Mitch for green dots all the time. Yeah. I smoked cigarettes, and I smoked cigarettes every day of my incarceration, all the way till I went home. And so I needed a lot of green dots. So I used to call and ask Mitch for green dots all the time. I had to be real. Hey, Mitch, you have a green dot? Like, it's really horrifying.
Different numbers.
Yeah. but so that's something that these people, after doing all that, the average person doesn't have the money to say, hey, let's go give another lawyer $15,000 to $20,000 to review this case.
Or the knowledge that they should.
Or even know that, like, for sure, if I would have known that, I would have made that happen somehow, some way. Or maybe I got that $15,000 to $20,000, and I'd ask everybody for green dots, right? And so that's something that we're trying to make sure that people are aware of. And what Payton was talking about, we're launching a project called Project Case Review. And what we're doing is our legal team, our lawyers are doing now. You come to us, you call us, we'll sign you up, we'll get you over to the legal team, and we're doing the case reviews that we've been telling everybody about, as well as the request for resentencing. Now, if you're incarcerated right now, you're listening. If you are listening and incarcerated, you're about to go crazy because you're going to get from us your case review done and the request for resentencing for only the price of one. Right? And that, I don't want to sound like, one of those commercials, but I'm in prison right now, and I just heard them say that, like, wait, hold on, they want to review my case, because that's what we want to do. We want to review your case because the DAs have discretion on the request for resentencing, right? So we can follow them to them, but let's say they don't grant it. If I'm in prison and all I got is $3,500, and do I do a case review or a request for resentencing because I want to go home so bad I'm doing the request for resentencing? But in all actuality, smart man says do the case review. Right. Because you do the case review, there's 100 things that might pertain to you that just came out now, as well as we can educate you on what should be done for you right now. And that's the biggest question families ask us is, where do we start? So that's what the case review does. But what I wanted to do and what our legal team wanted to do for the incarcerated people, we're going to automatically now also do a case review for you. A request for resentencing. So once we do your case review, we're going to find out everything we can that applies. The legal team, not me nor Mitch. But what we do, we'll find out everything that applies to you, what bill applies to your loved one, and we're going to automatically do your request for resentencing for free. They come together now. For Unite the People, you'll get both of that for that one thing. And we're doing that. Yes, it's more work. Yes, it's going to drive us into the dirt. But right now, we think that's what the people need. We think that a lot of guys would benefit from that. And we could get more people resentenced and get more people home. So that's absolutely what we're going to do. That's our project case review. All right. So
DJ Beto 08, we need justice for all our people who are incarcerated for the wrong reasons. Say that, brother.
Absolutely, DJ Beto. I get it. And we absolutely should do that. Somebody take his phone.
I can't agree more, DJ Beto 08. I couldn't agree more.
That's right, brother. That's right. And so we do have to touch on what's the best way to prepare when going in front of the board. And Vega 408 from Instagram asked that. If I explained it all to you, we'd run out of time. Let's address that next week, and I'll address it in full. But I can say this. I can give you the super key in one paragraph. Tell the truth. Period. Anything they ask you, they already know. They ask you that to see if you minimize, lie, or don't take accountability. So no matter what it is, I'm not going to lie. I said I did things I didn't do. The board asked me, say it again. Why did I say that?
No, ain't that a lie?
Yes, but to them, I'm taking accountability.
Right. Yep.
Right? They asked me, hey, did you stab that guy at Ironwood? He got stabbed in the head. He got stabbed. Yes. I told them that.
They actually had your
had my head. They asked me, did you? I said, I stabbed the hell out of him. Yes, I did. My blood was so going. Mm-hmm. I was so aggressive, but you're also very humble. Right. But if you lie, if you say no to anything, they're not going to let you go. So the things I did, they said, hey, were you involved in that riot back in 2006? But my arm was in the sling. And I was involved in the riot. But my arm was in the sling. So you had to be involved. I'm not a violent guy. It's something you have to do, right? Or you're going to need medical attention, right? So, right, but I was involved. But my arm was in the sling. I just had surgery. So I'm out there fighting with one hand, right?
But saying that would be minimizing, right?
But they let me off. The sergeant that took me to the hospital to get the surgery came through. It happened to be the Gold Squad sergeant came through and said, oh, no, it wasn't McDowell for sure. I just took him to surgery. He can't move his arm. And so they let me go. So I'm going back to the cell while everybody's still down getting cuffed. But
They still asked you about
they came back later and took me to the hole for it and whatever. But when I went to the board, I beat it in the hole. But when I went to the board said, hey, were you involved? Yes, I was. Absolutely. They said, how were you? You had your thing? Man, I came up out of that sling and fought for my life. But then they said, well, did you stab that guy? I didn't stab the guy. But I said, yes. I said, well, first I said, which guy are you talking about? They're like, were there multiple guys? I'm like, no, I just wanted to say the guy that was stabbed in the head and stabbed in did you stab him? Yes, I stabbed the hell out of him. My adrenaline was so pumped. But that's what I said. But to be honest, I didn't. But if I would have said I didn't, when they came back with their decision, they said, Mr. McDowell, well, you're minimizing. So just know or tell your loved one, any question they ask them, they already know the answer. So don't be slick, don't lie. But there were some things that I absolutely wouldn't say yes, I did. There were some questions that they asked were totally off the wall. No, but I had to read the room. Right. I had to read the room. Saying no at that point, I got one of them looks like this. So did you step?
Oh.
They look like that. When they look up like that, that's what they say. Yeah, boy, you know what I mean? And the whole time that I was going through the board was feeling me. Mm-hmm. The lady was like, yes, she was kind of walking me through it. Mm-hmm. And the man, you could tell he understood my charge. Like, she cheated on you with the police that took you to, and you cursed her out, you did? And he went through the thing, but there was a DA sitting on the side. And the DA is the devil in those situations. Because this lady did not know me. She's never met me. She did not get my case until the morning coming to the thing. And she came in late and said, oh, I got here late because I wasn't able to get a file on me, but I got it now. The whole time I'm talking, she's sitting on the side going, he's a liar. He's a liar. He needs 5 years. Give him 5 more years. He's a liar. He just learned how to talk like that. He just speaks properly. Give him some more time. The whole time I'm talking. And I'm looking at this lady, and they tell you what the board do not address the DA. So you want to say, man, shut up. You don't know what I'm talking about. While I'm talking, she's able to heckle you. Wow. And if you bite, you're done. They're going to shut you down. So she's over there, and you know, my son came and testified on my behalf. Right. And then, so my son is sitting right next to her, and he's looking at the lady like, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. My son is telling them, like, yeah, my dad's a good dad. He helped us all while he was locked up. She's in there, no, they're not. He's, you know what I mean? So absolutely, that's what I would tell him, and we can go more in depth into it later. I just want to make sure we touch a little bit of what everybody says. I don't have no jail stories. And
you got 6 minutes.
All right, Rasheed Lockhart on Instagram. How can we as a community get involved with the change already happening? Rasheed, good question, brother. I would say call Unite the People. Call us 888-245-9393 or hit us up on our social media, Unite the People, or you can give us a call. Hit us on our website on the contact us button.
What's the website?
Say it again.
What's the website?
The website is unitethepeople.org. Again, www.unitethepeople.org. You can hit us up on there, and we'll walk you through it, man. But I would say if I was just talking to somebody, that which we get that question a lot, is give us a call. Whether you can donate financially, raising money, like Mitch said, in order to be able to help more people in the community is a must. We have to do it. The goal is to get to where we can help them for free. Or you can donate your time. We do events. We do all kinds of things in the community. You'll see us out, whether we're clothing the homeless or giving gift packages or toys to the homeless kids drive. You'll see us everywhere. So you can contact us, and you can definitely get involved that way. They crossed out one subject that I really wanted to talk about, but I guess I won't address it.
Yeah, I wouldn't. This one?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's giving them a plug.
Yeah, but I feel some type of way about that. But we'll talk about that later. But we do events, man. You can give us a call. You can come step out with us and help the community.
Yeah, we should. You know what we should have? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. A call in, but
well, we'll get that. We should have a correctional officer next week.
Oh.
A retired correctional officer.
You talking about like
Derby.
If you guys want us to have any particular guests, let us know. Comment.
or if you want us to have a retired correctional officer in next week as our special guest on the 25th, we're going to have Lauren Posen. She's a news anchor from Spectrum News. She deals with a lot of criminal cases. But next week, man, I think that was a great idea. I would love to have a retired correction. Yes, Lord. Right. And
From the inside story.
from the other side of the wall. So I think we'll do that. Check in, and we'll be having the raffle winners. That will be on August 18th as well. It's going to be happening every 60 days. And thank you, everybody. Mitch, you got anything you want to get in there?
Just tune in
Next week?
Wednesday.
Next Wednesday, 6 to 7.
Every Wednesday, 6 o'clock.
Every Wednesday, 6 o'clock.
Every Wednesday.
6 to 7 on Wednesdays?
6 to 7 on Wednesday.
6 to
Wait.
Every Wednesday.
And wait, we forgot.
CPIRadio.org.
CPI Radio.
Man, thank you guys for listening. You guys were the first ones we're broadcasting with today. And so you guys got a little of the behind the scenes talk. And man, Brother Bless, big shouts out to you. And I think we're going to give Tory Lanez a call and try to get him in here too, man. I just have to say I'm a big fan of the guy. So that's it, man. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Peyton, you got anything you want to say?
Thank you for having me on the show. Tune in next weekend. Shout out Omaha, Nebraska.
Omaha. Yeah, all of the producers here today, man. We appreciate you. We're a little short on staff with the producers today, but we do have Destiny. Chloe was here earlier. Chelsea, Brother Tone, Big O, the sound guy, Uncle Kevin. And, he's a fixture here.
Got Joe Bartle,
and Brother
Joe Vargas. Did he say Joe Vargas?
Yeah.
But you said it so convincing.
Joe Vargas.
Joey Vegas.
Joey Vegas, man. Thank you for being here. And I know we have a special guest in attendance today, man. A good friend of mine, Amber. So it was beautiful.
Shout out to AK-47.
Oh, and AK-47 and everybody else. And M. Vega, man, we appreciate how you stay interacting with us and everyone else. We appreciate the interaction. Tune in next week, man. We're going to get live. It's going to get real big, man. So thank you, everyone, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yo.